Anytime my horse is tied up, she paws. If I leave her there until she stops, when I go to untie her, as soon as she sees me, she immediately starts pawing again. I tried hobbling her front feet, and she either rears or still paws, just less aggressively.
Tying problems. Horses want to paw, rear, fidget, move around when they're tied up. In general, I would tell you the first thing is I would just leave them tied. That's what I would do. I would literally just leave them tied up and I ignore them. Now, in your particular question, one of the things that really stood out to me is you said every time she sees me, then she really starts having a fit. What's that tell me? It immediately tells me that your horse is kind of stomping her foot over here. Come on, lady, get me undone here. Let's get this over with, okay? And being impatient. So this would be no different than if I walked through the barn and the horse was having a fit, when I'm going to feed him. Be the same thing. I just keep walking on to the next stall like I didn't even see him there. So I'd leave your horse tied up as long as it's safe. You know what I mean? He's not going to hurt himself. I'd leave him tied up and I would literally just ignore her until when I walk past or I'm walking around the barn, she's like, whatever. She forgot about me anyway. She's never coming back. I'm just going to be here for a while. Okay? And then I'd untie her. So I would never untie her if she's sitting there pawing and being a witch and being reactive. Okay? Next thing. I would make sure that you're tying her up a lot at the end of your training sessions to make sure that she's already tired. She already wants to stand still. Give her some motivation to, why would you want to stand here and be patient? Because it beats loping circles, okay? It beats whatever kind of work we were doing. Make it look like it's more of a reward than anything. I was in California a handful of years ago doing a clinic, and I remember at the end of the clinic, we had a bunch of horses with trailer loading problems, pawing and wanting to run backwards out of the trailer and stuff like that. And we went to dinner at the end of the clinic, and we pulled up to this, it was like a bar and grill place there. And there was a bunch of day-working cowboy horses tied up in a stock trailer. There was probably 8 of them tied up in a big trailer. And these horses are all still saddled, tied up in the trailer. And these guys are in there doing whatever, getting dinner, having a drink, whatever they're doing at the end of the day. And if you would have walked by there in the pitch black, you'd have never known in a million years there was anything on that trailer at all. I mean, these horses aren't fidgeting, they aren't moving around, they're not making any noise, they're just standing still. Why is that? Because after a long, hard day's work, standing still tied up in the trailer looks like a gift. It looks like, oh my God, for me, we get to stand in the trailer and you're going to go in the bar for a few hours? Sign me up for that, okay? But when you just get the horse out and, you barely move him around and you barely lunge him around a little bit and then you go tie him up, they're like, this sucks. This is not what I was thinking at all. I came out of the stall because I wanted to burn off some energy, lady. And now you want to tie me to the fence and wash me or brush me or whatever you're going to do. I didn't sign up for that. That doesn't sound like any fun at all. So give your horse something to compare it to. Make it look like those guys didn't intentionally do that. The work does that in and of itself. When those horses are done working at the end of the day and they loaded them in the trailer, it's not like they were trying to accomplish that goal, but it did it just the same, okay? It was a good lesson for those people at the clinic because I thought, you see what I mean? These are horses that get hauled every day. These are horses that are they're getting worked on every day. So when you put them in the trailer like that, it's not a chore. They're happy to stand still because they got something to compare it to at this point. Okay, so in general, I would tell you, number one, I would never untie her as long as she's having a fit. Okay, I've had multiple training horses over the years that where you'll come out and. I usually will tie them up for about an hour or two at the end of the training session. But if I come out again at 2 hours and they're pawing and having a fit and carrying on, I'm not untying them. I'll come back and again in another 2 hours and they're still pawing and carrying and having on. I'll leave them tied up all day. If I know I have one of these horses that has a problem like this, I'll ride them at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'll leave them tied up. That way I've got all day long to have that horse tied up there so that I'm not in a rush. Am I above leaving the horse tied up overnight? Nope. I'll offer him some water, give him some water, hang a hay bag up there where he can't hurt himself, and I'll leave him tied up all night. If you guys that have been following Clinton, you've heard us say this before, okay? Because I don't want to cave into the tantrum, I'm going to have a fit and I'm going to make a big giant scene out of myself until you come and get me. Because every time you do that, they just get worse about it. Next thing you know, as soon as you walk away from them, they're over here pawing and kicking the side of the wall, being terrible about it until you come back and get them because they know you're going to do that, okay? So never ever untie her when she's being like that. If you need to leave her tied up, leave her tied up. Not going to hurt her. She's going to be totally fine, okay? Leave her tied up until she knocks it off. Do it at the end of your training session so you set her up for success so that way your horse has a desire to want to stand still. Make it look like a good part of the day. Is there anything necessarily wrong with when they're, having a big old fit? Like let's say, for example, if I had the ability to do this and I had the time to do this, there'd be nothing wrong with following this little technique. I walk in the barn as soon as the horse sees me. Come on, Jeff, get me off this wall. I'm done here. Great. Go unsnap him. Take him out in the arena, lunge him. Lunge in stage 1, lunge in stage 2. Pressure. Hustle. Make him canter, make him change directions. Do that for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to lead him back in the barn. I'm going to tie him up and I'm going to walk away. So what you did is, hey, you thought I was your savior. Please, when I get you off the tie ring, it's not going to be something that you enjoy. It's going to be hustle. It's going to be work. It's going to be move your feet. So when I tie you up, I literally want you to think, hey, I hope he never comes back, okay? This right here is so much easier than what he was doing. This is like the gift of a lifetime. Jeff, snap that rope up and just get on out of this barn, okay? And that's the kind of attitude I want our horses to have about it. Typically, time will take care of this. Very rarely do we ever have a horse that has a real tying issue. They get tied up every day, number one. They get tied up when they're tired and they're sweaty and we're done training them, number two. And we do it consistently. We do this every single day until eventually this is like old hat for the horses when you tie them up. And they also know that, hey, when you're sitting here rearing up and striking out and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to come and get you, okay? It doesn't take too many times of being tied up all day long before the horse starts realizing, okay, I got it. The quickest way to get untied is be real quiet tied up. That's the quickest way to get out of this. And that's what they figure out, honestly, in a very short amount of time, typically. So I would leave the hobbling, personally, alone for right now. Hobbling's great. Great for the horses, good to get them having their feet restricted and stuff like that. But I really would leave it. As long as she's tied up somewhere where she's not pawing big holes in the ground and stuff like that. Put a rubber mat or something down like that so she's not destroying your property. But other than that, I would leave the hobbling for a separate subject, okay? I hope this helps you out.
Take your horsemanship to the next level. The No Worries Club Premium membership is your ultimate portal to complete your horse training. You'll have access to Clinton's complete training library, thousands of hours of step-by-step instructional videos. You'll master all aspects of horsemanship, from fundamentals to trick training. You'll have access to our exclusive social network that connects you with thousands of dedicated horsemen from around the world. You'll have the method available wherever you are and accessible through the web, your phone and tablets, or your favorite streaming devices. You'll receive 8 all-new training videos per year and the quarterly No Worries Journal, as well as access to the ever-growing video library, Q&As, performance horse series, blogs, and more. But that's not all. You also get free tickets to walkabout tours and priority access to the latest news coming from Down Under horsemanship. Not to mention VIP pricing on all of Clinton's must-have training tools. So what are you waiting for? Unlock the ultimate access and jumpstart your training program today.